Hi, my name is Palisa Sikwani and I work for Automation Anywhere. Today I'll be covering how enterprise cloud gives you competitive agility in a post-pandemic world. So now, more than ever, businesses are looking at adopting cloud, right? Especially with the current COVID-19 situation. A lot of businesses are looking for solutions that can help them cope during the pandemic as well as after the pandemic so that they can recover and thrive in business. And one of the biggest areas of disruption that has happened during the pandemic is business continuity, right? So companies who still have business systems and core processes running on premise have struggled to sustain business as usual since the pandemic. But if you're using cloud as an example, your systems wouldn't be reliant on physical proximity of service or local machines. Your systems are up and running no matter where you are and how you access them. And in the case that there should be some sort of disruption, cloud definitely provides you the benefit of backups, redundancy, and disaster recovery to minimize time and data loss. The second challenge is, businesses planning for reopening of offices. So what I mean by that is most businesses will need to prepare for both back to office and work from home scenarios. Cloud easily democratizes access to the application and workplace systems. You can empower your employees to work from anywhere with secure access to what they need while keeping them and their work protected and backed up. And finally, digital natives, or those businesses that have invested earlier on digitization, have been able to respond best to the change in business landscape and adapt swiftly to the COVID-19 pandemic. And when I talk about digital transformation, it's not just a buzzword for large enterprises, but digital transformation is also relevant to businesses of all sizes, and they're all looking to adopt a digital first approach. So cloud solutions are an integral part to the digital transformation journey, providing both business agility and the ability to scale quickly. What I've got in front of me are just a couple of assessments that we've actually received from industry experts and analysts. And if you read each of these, it's easy to see that those surviving and thriving through the pandemic have been the early adopters of the cloud. The flexibility and the scale of the cloud are becoming very evident over legacy systems. So it was for these reasons that late last year, we at Automation Anywhere launched what we call Automation Anywhere Enterprise A2019, which is the world's first cloud-only native web-based digital workforce platform. From discovery to data capture to automation to analysis and optimization of processes, the entire end-to-end intelligent digital automation platform that runs in the Automation Anywhere Enterprise Cloud. So there's a couple of benefits to this, right? So having an entire digital workforce in the platform allows you to have faster time to value. So what I mean by that is, if you look at Automation Anywhere Enterprise Cloud, you simply log in from a web browser and you can start automating. You can also start automation across the entire organization with just a few clicks. And the fact that this is accessible from the web removes a lot of barriers to adoption, right? So you can start immediately and you can learn as you go. The second benefit to using Automation Anywhere Enterprise Cloud is business agility, or what we call competitive agility. So the platform is obviously being frequently updated behind the scenes by us. And then all you'll have to do is, the moment that you log in, you'll have the latest technology and capabilities available to you. You can access the platform from any device, anytime, due to high availability. And one of the benefits that helps you achieve competitive agility is the fast and limitless scale of bots and automation across your entire organization. The last benefit is, the total cost of ownership being lowered, right? So in general, cloud platforms do lower cost to own and operate, but automation in the cloud gives you a higher total cost of ownership savings by eliminating the need for any infrastructure and maintenance. So if the digital workforce is in the cloud, you might be asking yourself, how does this work? So In this slide over here, you can see that while all the core components are hosted and run in the cloud, you can securely access the digital workforce on enterprise cloud from any device that has an internet connection and be able to build, run, and manage your bots from a web browser. So as you can see here, a key differentiator with our platform is that it's built from the ground up, right? To be cloud native and to be much more flexible and scalable versus retrofitting old architectures to work in the cloud. So I'll cover this briefly in the next slide. So if you look at Automation Anyway's enterprise cloud, we've designed this from the ground up to be cloud native and web-based, right? We have modern microservices architecture. We have a global availability of Java developers and support. But two of our competitors, I'll start with UiPath. If you compare their offering, right, it's built on legacy Windows Workflow Foundation with the last update being released about 8 years ago in 2012. They have lack of modularity in the client-server architecture, which makes scalability cumbersome and slow. And if you switch over to Blue Prism, they have what we describe as a cloud-washed offering. So it appears to be in the cloud, but it still requires a lot of manual upgrades due to the fact that this is using C++ architecture. This slide simply illustrates how we've architected our cloud offering for security, compliance, high availability, and performance. So remember, like I mentioned earlier, our platform has been built from the ground out to be cloud native, but we've taken a privacy first and enterprise security approach in the end-to-end architecture, so that not only keeps your data protected in motion and at rest, but it also sets the standard when it comes to security and compliance, right? With SOC 2, for example. And our cloud multi-tenancy, global high availability, and disaster recovery meet the needs of the organizations across both public and private sectors. And here, these are just some of the few security and privacy standards and certifications awarded to our enterprise cloud. So with a dedicated security ops team that is focused on evaluating industry standards and ensuring we're pursuing the highest standards to protect our customers. And then also note that additional certifications that we have, such as SOC 1, SOC 2, Type 2, etc., will be available in Q4 2020. Cloud ops is definitely, when I talk about cloud ops, they're responsible for making sure that our deployment and availability monitoring is there. And SecOps is there to help us with infrastructure security, such as vulnerability scanning, intrusion detection, penetration testing as well. In this slide over here, you can see that enterprise cloud is available globally in regional availability zones. So this is in place to ensure that we have high availability, redundancy, and disaster recovery. More locations are always being evaluated and added to meet both optimal performance everywhere and to maintain regional sovereignty requirements as well. So if you look at this side, right, based on reviewing the years of data and using your total cost of ownership calculations based on real customer data, we've actually found out that on average, for every dollar reinvested in automation on-premise provides over a $2 return on investment in savings, and it will steadily increase year over year. So when we introduced enterprise cloud at first, we had EY evaluate the total cost of savings based on the new platform and found that the automation in the cloud adds an additional 150% savings, or 2.5x more than automation on premise. This is a significant savings on year over year, whether you choose the Cloud Starter Pack or the Advanced Pack option. So taking a deeper look at the EY total cost of ownership study findings, this actually shows us the differences between our competitors. So you can see that definitely with automation anyway, we've got a lower total cost of ownership with enterprise cloud. So these are just some of our customers that have embraced our enterprise cloud platform, and they're still growing. Here's a case study that I'd just like to talk about briefly. So Guam, Brazil is a cloud customer, right? So the challenge that they had is they wanted to reduce manual processes in finance, tax and other departments across 37 offices. But using our cloud solution, they've been able to save 3 million in annual savings and 40,000 hours. And they've also managed to integrate 10 enterprise systems across the environment. So we have 3 deployment models for cloud. So we have pure cloud, cloud-enabled, and on-premise with updates via cloud. So when we talk about a cloud-native platform, we're able to offer our customers a choice as to how they want the digital workforce delivered. So these are just some of the capabilities that we have, right? So if you look at pure cloud, control room will sit in the cloud, customer data as well as product updates. But if you're looking for a more cloud-enabled solution, you can have the control room as well as the product updates in the cloud, but your data on-premise. And if you're looking at on-premise with updates via cloud, you can have both the control room and the customer data on-premise and your product updates in the cloud. So I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for joining this call. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email.